Hello, sickos. Welcome to the Pop-Off PC Mag's Video Game Show. I'm Jordan Miner. You were in Los Angeles land.
LA, good old California.
For IGN Live. So there's no more E3 anymore. So in its stead, all these other sort of gaming summer showcases have risen to take its place, including IGN Live from our sibling website, IGN. You went out there, you played some stuff, you saw some stuff.
Yes.
You have plenty of coverage on PC Mag already.
Yep, absolutely. Definitely swing by and take a look at some of the stuff that we've already written.
Some already video we've already shot of you.
Lots of footage, which, you know, with yours truly, you know, don't judge me too harshly.
A lot of videos with this kind of color scheme on it too.
Yeah, a lot of that. It was a lot of blue and purple and just a lot of crazy lights over there. But overall, it was. I guess I'll just.
Yeah,
once you step in
the
there,
yeah.
The show was pretty good. Like once you get into the venue, kind of walk down this like neon blue hallway, and you get into the stage, and that's the first thing you see. It's just this like booming loud stage where they're just doing giveaways and all kinds of stuff. And this stage is also where you kind of want to come back to every once in a while because they have their presentations. So a lot of game developers from basically across the industry. So we had, you know, people from Microsoft, people from Ubisoft, all these people just kind of show up, show off their game. Konami was there showing off Signy and a couple of others. So like there was a lot of stuff that you want to come back to. And then to kind of incentivize you to come back to the stage, you had people just throwing swag into the crowd. So definitely fun to be there. But once you got a little tired of that, or maybe if it was a little too loud, you can go over just across the hallway to the gaming hall. And they just had stations upon stations of games that were coming out or had just come out, upcoming games that were still kind of in beta, as well as some classic arcade games. And then if you got tired of that, there was a small upstairs area with a theater room where you could watch like additional panels for like close, like in-depth looks at certain games. Or on day 3, we watched the Xbox Showcase, which I'm sure you guys will get into in your own video. But overall, the venue, I will say, was not enormous, but like, you know, E3 was a massive convention center. Yeah. And it's just like, it takes you like 10, 15 minutes to get from one end of the hall to the other one.
You got to plan your days at E3.
You have to plan it. You have to, like, you don't just show up and then do whatever you want. Like, you have to plan around that. This was nice. It was compact. You had the hall, which you can get from one end of the hall to the other in like a minute. It was nice and small. But there was a lot to do there, so it was definitely worth visiting at least one day.
It's like a fan event. Fans can come to this.
That's
right.
exactly what it was. Okay. It was a fan event. So you, again, kind of like Comic-Con here or anywhere really. Like you go there for one day if you want, or you can go there for the whole weekend, and then they have different presentations and different games that they're showing off throughout the weekend. The demos are more or less the same, but the presentations and panels are all different. So if you wanted to come back and say watch Phantom Blade Zero, which they had a showcase for on the in the theater room upstairs. That was a great kind of show, and you can see the guy, the CEO of, I believe the company is called S-Game, is the developer. CEO was there, and he was showing off that the game is actually real, because some people were kind of like doubting the fluidity of the animations. They're like, this looks like this is fake.
Back to the Killzone 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he goes and he just gets bodied by the boss a couple of times, and you're like, oh, okay, this is a real game.
Is that the one that had a boss called Commander Cleve? Is that game?
Yes, I think that is exactly
right. I remember seeing that name and hooting and hollering about Commander Cleve.
Commander Cleve was the second boss, and I think he died to that once. And then he deliberately died to the third boss, who like took his head off with like a special wuxia-inspired ball and chain attack. It was very cool.
So that's one game.
Right, that was one.
What are some games that you played that you enjoyed?
So downstairs in the hall, like I said, there was a ton of games that were coming out or like had just come out, like the Kingdom Hearts collection I played. I got some hands-on with that, which technically already came out on Epic, but we don't talk about that. So we're talking about Steam instead, which it just came out for, and it's great if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan. Played Ghost of Tsushima on PC as well, which looks fantastic, and I would highly recommend to anybody who hasn't already played it to definitely buy it on PC for sure. But then other titles as well. Like I did play a couple of like indie sort of games like Pipistrello.
Yeah, the second yo-yo based game of this year.
Right, and as opposed to the first one, which was
Penny's Big Breakaway, which we have a review on the site already.
Right.
But how was this other one?
Pipistrello was like kind of a love letter to the 2D Zelda games of old. So if you remember Minish Cap,
yep.
The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, or
Link's Awakening.
Had
a remake on Switch.
It had a lot of like Link's Awakening, because the sprites were like really big and bright, but also not too complicated. They're pretty straight, like simple and easy to look at, like as opposed to some of those.
It's very Game Boy coded.
Right, as opposed to something that's more like, I guess, shaded and intensely detailed. These are really simplistic sprites, but they're very expressive. it looks like a lost Game Boy Advance game. And it plays like what you would expect one of these old games to play like. So it's just 2 buttons and attacking and jumping and then solving puzzles, fighting enemies. It felt like, again, like a Zelda game. I really enjoyed that. But beyond that, there was also like Stampede, I think it was Stampede Racing Royale.
Yes.
Which was a 60-man Mario Kart. Well, I guess I shouldn't say Mario Kart, but
it's a kart racer. A generic mascot kart racer.
Kart racer.
It's like Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, something like that. So you run around the racetrack, or you race around the racetrack, collecting power-ups, shooting them at your enemies or opponents, rather, not enemies.
Your blood foes.
Yeah, whoever you're feuding.
Yeah.
Your mortal enemies, and then you just get to the finish. It was 60-man. I don't know how much of that was like all 60 players or if there was like CPUs or anything. I couldn't really tell from the gameplay, but I played a couple of rounds. It was fun. I would say that my only criticism towards that was that it felt a little slow. Like I'm used to playing like 150 cc's on Mario Kart. This felt like it was
look
like,
at you.
Yeah.
A hardcore gamer over here.
Sometimes, if I want to play a little dangerously, I'll play 200.
I was going to say, yeah, that's what they added in. Yeah.
But I have to be in the right mood for that.
Yeah.
But this game felt like it was kind of like a 50cc sort of speed, and it was fun to get into, but I kind of felt like I wanted a little bit more. But it is still, I think, early access, and I don't think there's like a release date for it. But we know if they speed it up and add more mechanics to it, I think it'd be a really fun kind of battle royale to get into every once in a while.
So those are some good highlights. Yeah. Again, we have coverage. We have more in-depth coverage of all the stuff you were talking about. You've written about it for PC Mag, so check that out. Check out the videos. I bring it up as a fan event in that they do it again in the future. Something that our viewers may want to check out for themselves. So
I would highly recommend it. Like I said, you could go there all day, all 3 days, like for the whole weekend, or you could just go there for a single day and just get a nice sampling of what they're demoing that day. Because the demos, like I said, are more or less the same all 3 days. So if you just want to go there and get hands on some games, I think it's well worth stopping by. But you go there for the whole weekend and get like a full-on, gaming coverage sort of bonanza. And you can stand around the stage and just snatch whatever swag they toss your way. They had like giant drums of ice-packed dew, and you just grab some Mountain Dew whenever you wanted.
For the gamers.
For the gamers. They had a nice gift shop, and they had like some pretty cool shirts that you could buy. I think there was like playing Smash Brothers in the background. Yeah. It was fun. I had a lot of fun there, like a surprising amount of fun. I think specifically because it's like a fan event as opposed to like a big industry business kind of oriented thing. This felt nice and casual. So it was a nice little break away from the usual.
Cool. So ringing endorsement. Again, IGN is our sibling website.
It is.
So
yes,
you should be aware of that. But it sounds good. That's IGN Live. Gabe, thanks for kind of walking us through it.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.